Currently, China is dealing with discrimination in many parts of the country. China had been having to deal with various issues regarding human rights in the past, with discrimination against different groups of people being just one prevalent problem. People in China are often discriminated against because of their gender, age, race, religion, and employment. Those who benefit only include those on the opposite spectrum of those who are being discriminated against. Despite the Constitution that forbids discrimination against women, people with disabilities, and those of different ethnicities or religious backgrounds, discrimination is still very commonplace in various areas of the country. There are also many laws and regulations that stress the equalities of workers' rights. However, employment discrimination is still an occurring practice between employers and institutions. The Declaration of Human Rights says not to discriminate no matter the differences. The Constitution of the People's Republic of China also states that no one will be discriminated against no matter their age, race, religion, gender, or other factors. A common form of discrimination is of that against women. Women are often denied jobs simply because of their gender. Job employers usually favor men, which makes it very difficult for women to earn enough money for a living. However, discrimination against women usually starts even before they begin looking for jobs. In order to get accepted for certain majors, women usually have to score much higher than men on entrance exams, especially for fields involving science or technology. However, even when women do manage to obtain a job, problems occur in the workplace as well. Sexual harassment, for example, is a serious problem. In fact, according to the China Labor Bulletin, a 2013 survey showed that up to 90% of female factory workers in Guangzhou have all been victims. About 43% of those surveyed said that they dealt with it without complaining, while the remaining 47% said that they tried to actively resist the advances. However, nearly all of them said that they received no assistance from their employer, the trade union, the Women's Confederation, and even the police when asked. This form of discrimination is probably due to the views of society that men are usually held to a higher standard, thus are more respected by other workers. Over time, however, more and more women have been actively speaking up against the biased views of employers. In 2013, a 23-year-old woman named Kao Ju applied for a job at a private-based tutoring company during academy in order to pay for her loans. Even though the company wanted a male for their position, Ju believed that, despite being a woman, she held all the requirements needed for the job. Ju did not agree with the country's traditional ways of choosing their employees and stated that, "I think as long as a person is capable of doing the work the post requires, gender is irrelevant." She later got a lawyer, which was a rare response that most women denied jobs did not do. This was the first gender discrimination lawsuit in China, and the company awarded her 30,000 yuan. This lawsuit was a significant event that marked the first time the issue of gender discrimination was made known to the public, and it also encouraged more women to step up against unequal job opportunities. In order to advance this right, China needs to focus more on addressing the issue of discrimination in the workplace. The country still seems to hold the notion that women are not as capable as men to hold specific job positions, which they need to move away from in order to let more women into the workplace. Another form of discrimination still occurring in China is towards migrant workers based on the household registration system, also known as the hukou system. Originally created half a century ago as a way to control internal migration in the country, the system established discriminatory practices against rural workers. Because of this, migrant workers often receive less than their urban counterparts even for the same work. Migrant workers living in rural communities have fewer educational opportunities than urban residents. Due to this, most workers have to resort to poorly paid and, in some cases, dangerous jobs where they are most likely to be abused and taken advantage of by the employers. Even when rural residents are able to secure higher education, they still face discrimination while looking for jobs after they graduate. A survey of employers of college graduates conducted in 2010 discovered that almost 60% of them had specific requirements concerning the household registration for new employees seeking opportunities. 3 years later, in 2013, a student from the Anhui province sued the Nanjing Municipal Bureau of Human Resources and Social Security. The student believed that they were showing discrimination to certain people during their employer recruitment search. This student, Su Min, later wanted a formal apology as well as a payment of 50,000 yuan in emotional damages after the bureau made it clear that they were specifically looking for applications for a job as a telephone consultant who had hukou in Nanjing, located in eastern China. However, Su Min was from the town of Zhuangsheng, southeast of the Anhui province. So due to this, she was prevented from applying and obtaining that specific job. After fighting a 15-month legal battle, she was rewarded 11,000 yuan as her payment from the company. On July 24, 2014, a year after the lawsuit, the State Council officially announced plans to improve and reform the hukou system in order to reduce discrimination faced by migrant workers and create more job opportunities. By doing this, migrant workers and their families will have better qualities of life, and hopefully the new development will help get rid of, or at least somewhat ease, the injustice that they confront on a daily basis. Under the plan, migrant workers will still need a job and enough income to steadily support residency requirements. Major cities, such as Beijing and Shanghai, will be still limiting the number of migrant workers given residency. Despite these restrictions, it is a step in the right direction that will hopefully lead to more beneficial developments for the people. China still has a long way to go in terms of alleviating the strict control over the household registration system, but with the recent improvements, more people will be able to earn jobs and a steady income in order to support their families. These efforts will hopefully make life better for China's mass number of migrant workers, and the country's government would have to focus on providing employment, access to social security, improved living conditions, and easier enrollment in schools for children. In order for this to happen, however, major cities should loosen their holds on the restrictions in order to reduce the number of migrant workers. They need to be given equal opportunities to obtain a job and be treated fairly by their employers and fellow workers. Migrant workers should not be left without support, and the best way to make this possible is to give them easier access to job opportunities with fair pay, which will lead to better housing and overall quality of life.